And what happened in the first 31 days of 2023? Where did the median price end up? Well, here we go. We have a new median price of 430,000. Sounds like last year. If you look at 2022, we ended the year at 430 and we're ending January at 430. So all the doom and gloom and the things you hear about, the market's going to crash, the prices are going to go down, we haven't seen it yet. So on my hearing aids here. There we go. Okay, so 430 is the median price, and that's 35% of the market, 430 and under. So that's not bad. 1,831 homes available in that price range from 430 down, median price and down. That's pretty good. And here's what I always say, and Jimmy says, Ruthie, I know you're going to say the market's churning. Well, it is. We listed 91 homes yesterday, and we closed 117. So what does all this mean to us? We have 121 days of inventory, and now we're basing that on January sales, which were 56 sales per day. We were at 64 per day in December of 2022, and this now past month, January, we went down to 56 per day. And last January, we were doing more than half of that at 114 per day. So yes, the market has shifted as far as activity, but our median price is holding strong. We're still having investors buying in our market. They bought 18 homes per day year to date, and that's 551. I keep saying investors, non-owner occupied, because some of them have they're buying second homes, and some of them haven't decided what they're going to do with that home they just bought. So anyway, that's what's going on. Now, the only thing that has really shifted greatly is the $1 million home sales. We were doing 4.2 per day, okay, last year. So far this year, we're at 2 1/3. So that has gone down almost in half. So we shall see how that fares out with the $1 million home buyers. We know that California just came up with some new taxes, some new laws, and I'm going to have my friend Steve from California on the show in the next, when he's available in the next couple of days, or maybe by next week anyway. So that's what's going on. And we know that the interest rates are hovering, go up a little bit, down a little bit, up a little bit, down a little bit. So hopefully everybody is getting ready for a very successful 2023. I think it's going to be a great year. I know that our rentals are flying off the market. I know that we've had some of our owners who they've owned their properties with us for 20 years. And of course, if they got them when they were 50, they're getting to the point where they want to sell. So we have some of our owners that have put their homes on the market, and we got offers on all of them. So what can I tell you? The people are still out there buying, so don't dismay. And we're going to go into some business planning today, the second part of the show, in just a minute, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on this week in our training center. And let's get started with some slides from last week. When I say that we're going to have a good year, if you look over time, and I'm going to make this slide available in the group. If you look over time, home prices have increased over the last 10 years, $276,000. And how many times have we said the average renter's net worth after 10 years is $6,000? The average home owner's net worth is at least $250,000. Well, this bears that out to be true. So if you look at that, the home price increase over the last 10 years is $276,000. And I bring this up because as we go into this year that I think is going to be a good year, these are the things that we need to show people. Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait. And you've heard me say that so many times. And down here it says that that's 185.2% in 10 years of growth. So that is quite an astounding number. And that says that every home increased $76 in value per day in the last 10 years. So however you want to spin it, you can do a little video about this, put it on Instagram, do a short about it, do a reel about it, do a story about it, but get the word out. That don't wait to buy real estate and wait. And here's why. And you can show this. I'll put this in the group. You can download it and show it on your video. So now, my big question is, it's 31 days into 2023, and how's your business plan going? So in trying to decide how to approach that, I pulled up a video that Tom Ferry did with his brother. And the Ferry family is just all about real estate. So what I want to do today to help everybody put their business plan on steroids, so to speak, is to listen to this for, like, if you got 20-25 minutes, that's how long it takes. If you don't, come back and watch it when you have the time, but please watch this. This is a stellar video about how to be successful in real estate in 2023. So Tom and Patrick address all the issues that we are seeing in this market at this point in time. And they did this at the beginning of either the end of the year, or I think they did this the beginning of January. So this is very recent, and it just really hits the nail on the head for everybody who's looking to maybe they got overzealous with their business plan. Maybe they don't have all the ingredients to make it successful. So let's watch this. I'm going to be quiet. I know that's hard. Let's see. Let me put me down here. Yes. Okay. So here we go, everybody. So if you have 20 minutes, 25 minutes, you must hear this. You must hear this if you want to be successful, in 2023. And I have this quote that I love. If you think the price of success is too high, wait till you get the bill for your regret. And I promise you, I'm going to be quiet now. Okay, so here we go.
The agent today has to have
a market. There was a market in 2007, 8, 9, 10 for people that were willing to find the market. There was a market in, let's just call it post 9/11, which really shocked the real estate industry. There was a market in 2001 when the dot-com bubble exploded. There was a market in 1989 after the stock market crashed in 1987. There's always a market. So Patrick, we want to talk about what the person listening right now can do to really make sure they knock it out of the park next year. You got a bunch of ideas. I got a bunch of ideas. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. My thing with exactly what you said is the agent today has to have a good plan that they got to double the amount of opportunities that they generate from their lead generation initiatives to be able to make the same amount of money and income. And I think we saw.
Okay, hold on, let's break that down. So the hypothesis is,
yes,
let's say if last year, if I looked at all my numbers and all my marketing and all my referrals and all the leads that I generated, in order for me to make the same money, I have to double all those numbers.
I got to double the lead generation. I got to create more opportunities.
Okay.
Right? So, and because, if we really look at it, we're going to see the number of sales go down a little bit, right? So the total number of transactions is going to go down. The 2.5% interest rate where everybody wants to buy, everybody wants to sell, everybody wants to trade up, that's gone away. We saw that in 2022. So I just want my clients and all of our friends to be mentally prepared that we do need to generate more opportunities so that we can actually close those ones that have to buy, have to sell, which is exactly what you said. There's always a market in every market, right?
So in December, I had myself and David Childers from Keeping Current Matters, and we actually looked at a slide that was basically the MBA, right? Mortgage business versus NAR versus Fannie versus Freddie. And the median prediction, average prediction was 5.1 million individual units sold in 2023. Now that included new construction.
Nice.
That included new construction. So 5.1 million individual units sold is still a big number, certainly better than what we had this last year in 2022. So again, give me the hypothesis. I'm going to have to talk to more people, or I'm going to have to generate more leads. I'm going to have to double the number of appointments, make it more clear for me. What do I need to do more of?
Well, you and I, you've been coaching for a long time. I've been coaching for you for a long time. And what I realized was in 2021, we were hustling so much, right?
Yes.
Every client that we got, it was very difficult unless it was a listing to sell.
Yep.
Right. And so I found a lot of my clients, and including myself, by the end of 2021, we were kind of burnt out.
For sure.
And so in terms of our business plans, our lead generation plans, as I was going back and reviewing all of my plans with everybody, I was like, wow, you kind of chicken scratched a plan, and it wasn't really that good.
Yeah.
And so I'm just challenging everybody. This is not the year to do that. This is the year that your business plan and your lead generation plan needs to be specific. It needs to have a math equation. It needs to be on point. This is not the year to just go into this thing saying, Tom, I'm just going to be consistently making my calls. I'm just going to be more consistent with doing video. Like, I don't want to hear that. I want to know exactly what we're going to do and go all in on, double down on where the money's going to come from and where those opportunities are going to arise. So that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, this is what we've got to do.
We got to go
year.
deep.
This
deep
is not
in
the
math.
year.
So let me throw one for the listener. I literally just finished all of my personal conversations with all my clients, basically setting the tone for what we want to do this year. And, some are a little bit behind when they compare 21 to 22, certainly because of the rates, some were ahead. Everybody is forecasting a more productive 2023. And when we looked broadly at what everybody was focusing on, there was basically, let's call it 3 primary goals. So if you're listening to this right now, even if you've already set your goals, even if you've already written your plan, I'd like you just to consider the following. When you have more than 3 goals, the old line is 1, 2, 3, too many, right? Like too many things, too many distractions, and there's already enough distractions in your business. So I would want to see 3 primary goals up and visual in your office, probably on your bathroom mirror at home every single day so you can review it. In no order, it would be number 1, what's your volume goal? What's your transaction goal? What's your gross commission income goal? And what is your profit after taxes goal? So that would all be number 1, right? So, hey, I want to do 8 million in volume, or I want to do $800 million in volume, whatever that number is. The number of transactions closed, right? You could break down buy side, sell side. That would be a really good idea. What your expectation for gross commission is and what your profit's going to be. That's number 1. That should be very clear. And it needs to be, as we say, smart, right? Specific, measurable, et cetera, attainable, realistic. Attainable? Yes. And have a timetable on it. And then, of course, the second goal that the vast majority of my personal clients have set their intentions around goes back to some of the early data that we saw, certainly in early days of social, but really it got put on steroids during, call it 2020, 2021, 2022. And that was whoever put out the most content. And content could be email, it could be text, it could be direct mail, it could be a billboard. And of course, it could be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. It's all of that. Basically, they position themselves not just for know, like, and trust, but mostly for like. They want to be the most likable brand in the marketplace. And the marketplace is their own past clients and centers of influence, right? Their own database, their own areas that they're serving, whether it's geographic farm or an entire city or entire town or entire county, right? So the second one really would be brand, right? I want to be the most likable, most called upon agent in my marketplace. And the third one, and the one that kind of playing off your point, the reason why I'm bringing it up is I believe in 2023, an agent today that doesn't have a goal set for the number of appointments they're going to go on doesn't have a plan, right? If you can't tell me my current percentage, and I'll give you just some examples, right? So if you said, easy math, I want to have 24 closed transactions in a year, and I want 12 to be listings sold and 12 to be buyer sales, just playing out the easy math, right? Let's actually go 10 and 14 to make it even easier, right? So I want 14 listings sold. And I say, all right, well, in this environment, you're probably going to have to go on 3 appointments to get 2 to have 1 sell. Just saying, just in case.
Yeah, just be conservative.
And if they all sell, winner, winner, chicken dinner, right? So I got to go on 3 to get 1 to sell. So what's 3 times 14? I think that's going to be 30, 42, right?
42.
So I need 42 listing appointments. I'd make the argument too, in the past, if you had a buyer consultation, and that's the only appointment I'm referring to. I'm not talking about showing appointments. I'm talking about straight up, I'm going to talk to you about selling your house, or straight up, I just showed you a property and now we're doing a buyer consult, or I'm doing a buyer consult and then I'm going to go show you property.
Yep.
Most would argue you're going to convert 1 out of 3, right? And the reason why that number, it could be 1 out of 4 during the pandemic times, because it was just impossible to get offers to get accepted. So if you know your numbers, you're like, no, I'm 1 out of 2, or I'm 1 for 1, like Coach Elisa Ashig, right? Big shout out to Alicia. She would say, no, I'm 1 for 1. If I do a buyer consult, they sign a buyer brokerage agreement, they're absolutely getting into a house with us, right? Whatever that number is, whether it's 10, is it 15, is it 20? You need to know that number, because last time I checked, the only leading indicator to a closed transaction is an appointment. So I'm going to make the argument that if I walked into your bathroom mirror, I'm going to see your transaction goal, your volume goal, your GCI, and your profit goal. Profit, not, hey, I grossed this much. And then you live in New York, or you live in California, or you live in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, 62% tax, right? Like just straight off the top. I don't care about your gross, though I care because it's a measurement. What I want to know is how much do you want to profit at the end of the year to pay off some debts, to save some cash, to make some investments, to put your life in a better position, why you worked your face off for that profit. Then your brand goals, we'll get more in depth on that. And then I want to know how many appointments you're going to go on. I have multiple people I'm working with. Stephen Cohen, big shout out to Stephen Cohen, New York City. I just made him a $10,000 bet. I said, I got 10 grand. Says you can't go on 150 listing appointments in a year. And I said, and if you lose, you got to pay me in shekels. I want him straight from Israel, right? Like just making some fun of it. Now, Steve, if you're listening, the odds are he's not going to do it. Sorry, Steve, right? He's so competitive. He's going to be so pissed that I even said that. But here's the deal. The odds are he's not going to do it because maybe this year he went on 80. So to go from 80 to 150 is a big jump.
Right.
But what happens in your mind? What happens in your experience when someone has a big monster goal like that with a little accountability? What happens?
They always perform. They're more focused.
Right. So the worst case scenario, he goes on 142,
right,
and has his absolute best year of his career, because whoever goes on the most listing appointments is going to win the most listings. Period. End of story. So that's my first big point. What's your next big point for people if they want to make this year the best year ever?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate something incredibly valuable that I personally dismissed, and it was a huge mistake. And I'm pushing, I do it myself now, and I do it for all my coaching clients, is the up and visual goals the single most important.
Yes.
It's just weird when I have a coaching client that
I'm not even sure why I hit the gong, but in case you're listening, that was the gong for good points.
You know, they're distracted, they're unfocused,
Yes.
they kind of lose track. It's usually just because they just don't remember. So like the bathroom mirror up in the office, like they've got to just look at it every single day.
Yep.
And I know that as soon as I implemented that, productivity went through the roof. And it was like, surprise, surprise, Tom's been doing this for, 20 years. Like, why is he so successful? Because he's reminded every single day of exactly what he said he was gonna do, and keeps him focused and keeps him accountable.
Yep.
So it's like,
it's how you move it from a business plan to a part of your life, a ritual, a routine. When Kath and I first got married, we were like, on our bathroom mirror, how much debt do we have?
Right.
How much savings do we have? And literally we tracked as we paid off all of our debts and our net worth went up. And she still, to this day, it's like 30 years of marriage, she still talks about the power of that. And that's why if you come to either one of our houses, all of our goals
it's
are up
always there. I see it every time. The one other thing I want to add to that too is, and you've talked about this nonstop. You say marketing is math. And then this year I was like, okay, I want to see more math equations on your plan. So you've got your appointment goal. That's great. So now let's go into lead generation pillars. So your past client center of influence.
So I got some stuff there.
Here's, so one of the first and foremost, I want to see every single one of my great coaching clients and friends out there do the purchase anniversary equity review. Right. And shout out to David Caldwell and all the great people in Tom Ferry ecosystem been talking about this. Kind of evolved from the CMA a day. And then too many of our great clients have too many past clients.
Right.
So CMA a day didn't make a lot of sense. We really needed to move it to a purchase anniversary.
I agree. The counterpoint, though, is a lot of people absolutely took a ton of listings by doing CMA a day.
No, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's a way to operationalize it if you have a big database of past clients.
Yeah. So like in the fourth quarter of 2022, we got everybody to do the CMA a day, then set up the CRM, set up the task, set up the system for 2023.
So what does that anniversary look like? What's the deliverable for the consumer?
Yeah, so a couple things. I've had to deal with a lot of clients. So they're like, should I do a cloud CMA? Should I do a full extensive CMA? I do these, 2-page long spreadsheets. I was like, look, the bottom line is we want your past clients to know that you put some thought and attention into this, and it needs to be significantly better than like anything they would see on Zestimate and whatever.
Yes.
And I said, so it's just a matter of making sure that the perceived value is there.
Yep.
And then I said, look, hey, by the way, we're all supposed to be looking at the hot sheet every day anyways.
Yep.
So we're just looking at the hot sheet of your past client, right? And that's going to keep you in tune with the market, in tune with your pricing. So there's a lot of value for them to actually commit this time. So and then craft a really good email and let everybody know what you're doing, that you're doing this for everybody, that you're committed to this process of being their advisor and doing this annually. And some people need to make this announcement now.
Yes.
They need to tell everybody, hey, I'm committed to doing this.
It sounds like putting your butt on the line. So people are like, hey, where's my... Yeah.
Correct.
I love it.
And, so there's accountability once you make this announcement, right? And the one thing that I find with a lot of my friends, and this is, shout out to Tom Ferry and your guys' company, every year, the biggest companies always announce new features and services to their business, trying to improve the quality of the service that they provide their customers. So we're just making an announcement. Hey, past clients and good friends, this year I've decided I'm going to add this new thing into my business to provide more value, more service to my great friends and clients. And here's what I'm committed to doing. I want to be your resource for anything regarding home values. So let's set the stage up front for that and announce it with pride. Not we're like, oh no, like I haven't been doing it for 5 or 6 years. Great. Make the announcement and be excited about it.
Right.
So that was a couple things I had to deal with this last year, just trying to get everybody to implement this. Then I think
so I want to go back though first before you jump. I actually think if you go back to I want to be the most trusted, most likable brand in my marketplace, it's hard to argue against. Now your brand, your clients. If it just shows up in an email, it's another email, right? If it shows up in an envelope with a handwritten note, right? That's a different experience. If it shows up in a box and it's beautiful and it's well packaged, that's another box, thank you very much. That's another experience. If you took 7 photos of their house when it was for sale and you added those photos in and if you just go back to plussing, enhancing, it's Mike Vance 101, right? Like, can I add scent to it? Can I add visual to it? Can I add taste to it? You throw in a couple Glenda Baker, cupcakes inside there. I mean, I know you might be saying, oh my goodness, this sounds like a daunting task. But before you go, I want to remind everybody, there's only 2 questions on the mind of every homeowner right now. How much is my home worth today? And what's it going to be in the next year?
Yes.
And all we're trying to do is answer that at scale and deliver the value that everyone can say, deliver value, deliver value. What do I want? I want to know what's my home worth and what do you think it's going to be worth based on what everybody's saying in the future.
Let me give us a couple of simple things on that customization. So shout out to Zach Nelson in Denver, one of my great clients. Him and his marketing person took this concept and really knocked it out of the park. And so one of the things that he did is he said, hey, you bought a home with me in this month, this year. You bought it for X dollars.
Oh, that's
and
very nice.
I remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he put in that kind of custom information, which made it feel kind of more relevant, more valuable, and then he said, then after looking at all of the current, what's going on with the market, the homes for sold, that actively, here's kind of the range if you haven't done any improvements. I look forward to reviewing this with you. Let me know if you've made some improvements and we'll talk a little bit more about that, blah, blah, blah. Right. So then it's for me, with a lot of clients that have a lot of past clients, we got to be efficient. So it's email, then it was the text. hey, I sent you something. Then it follows up with the phone call and let's do the phone conversation. I do love David Caldwell with the annual equity review face-to-face.
Right.
So, you know,
Even if that's on Zoom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Zoom. So, you know, we all have, we just have to figure out what's the right plan for us.
Yep.
And then a lot of my coaching clients this year were like, they were still overwhelmed with that project. And so I said, would you please just download every single one of your past clients out of the MLS?
Right.
And let's look at the date, the price, and then let's just go through that list. Let's create a spreadsheet. Let's print it out and let's just check them off. Like, let's just build a system that we can get it done.
Yeah.
Now, so here's what I'm noticing in terms of results, and let's go back to math equation.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of my clients will write on their plan, and it'll say, you know, annual equity reviews.
Yeah. Be consistent with my past clients.
I was like, yeah, no.
Okay.
How many?
Yes.
And they're like, well, how many addresses do you got? Okay, so it's 110.
Yeah.
And then I'm saying to them, hey guys, I'm noticing that at least if you're an okay agent, 1 out of 10 of these that you do, you're generating an opportunity.
Yep.
What's an opportunity? Oh, Patrick, I just got an amazing referral. I just did the CMA. Great. What happened? Well, I was talking to Tom and he said, hey, Patrick, you need to talk to my neighbor. They're thinking of selling. I was just talking to Tom and he said, Patrick, you need to call my son, Michael. He needs to buy a house. So the opportunity just came through that conversation and they're introducing them to these referrals. And it was literally 1 out of 10. Now we know that a referral from a past client has a very high conversion rate.
Yes.
So conservatively, we can say 50% conversion. So, wow, here we are, 1 out of 10. So here's the math equation. You got 110 clients. That means in general, we're probably going to create 11 opportunities. And at a 50% conversion, that's 5 to 6 sales.
Right.
So I would want to see that on the plan.
Yes.
Right. That's real. And that where I can hold them accountable, but the actual plan now holds them accountable.
Well, and what I love
that's
about this is now, you know, I know we're going to get to, you know, what are your 7 daily actions? Like what are every single month when you walk into your business, like I can walk into all my businesses and I can essentially say, show me the health of the business. Right. And I see 15 numbers on my main business and I go on track, off track, on track, on track, on track, off track, off track, on track, on track, on track. Okay. Who do I need to talk to get all those other ones back on track?
Yeah.
Right. And I guess the argument, maybe we need to back up. I'm looking you right in the eye if you're just listening only. We're making the assumption that you want to make a lot of money, that you are committed to your practice, and you wouldn't already be listening to this podcast unless you weren't that person. But be clear. He started this by saying, we're going to have to do more in 2023 to get the same or better results. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about a lot of stuff here. They got to have 3 goals. They got to go deep with their database. You got to have visual tracking of everything.
Yep.
Should they be tracking how many annual home reviews they do?
Absolutely. For sure.
Because wouldn't it be nice to know I did 178 of them in the first 6 months and got 29 referrals from that.
Yes.
Or took 7 listings from that.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. And have the spreadsheet. Just have a spreadsheet and go down the list and have it in order. I mean, it's fine. And or if you're fancy, put it in your CRM as a reminder and you need to look at it once. The problem with sometimes with the CRMs and these reminders is I find a lot of agents kind of avoid it.
Yeah.
So if you're really not
it gets
pro with your tasks and reminders in your CRM, then please print it out. This is super important. Let's talk about the script. So there was 3 questions to have on that conversation. Question number 1 is probably my best question I ever designed in prospecting, which is, do you have any questions about values in the neighborhood or with what's going on with the market?
Give me the question one more time.
Do you have any questions about values in the neighborhood or with what's going on with the market?
I love it.
Okay. That question
That's
works.
up there with your, has anyone taken the time to show you X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
No one showed me that.
Has anyone reviewed with you all the off-market opportunities to see if any of those are a good fit for you? Like that one's going to be amazing in 2023, guys.
Big time.
But so that question number 1, that opens up a great conversation. We just sent them a CMA. Let's talk about it.
Right.
That gives all my clients an opportunity to practice their ability to present the market and to field good questions for your next housing market video that you're going to do as
Right,
well. So it's
right.
good practice.
Yep.
Then question number 2. Hey, do you guys have any plans for your property in terms of upgrades, solar, ADU, a remodel that I could maybe, refer you or help you out with, give you some good advice?
Yep.
Question number 2. And then question number 3 is, hey, right? Do you have any thoughts about buying an investment property in 2023, 2024? Good idea.
Yeah.
Right. Do you want to buy a vacation home this year? Good idea. Or a second
Airbnb
home or
or-
anything.
yep,
Is there are you guys thinking within the next couple of years that you want to start planning now for this next thing? Kind of alluding to one of the great questions, which is, in the door knocking script, there's a great question, which is, within the next 2 years, have you had any thoughts of selling?
Yes.
And it
Nice
takes
little modification
all
to Tim
of-
Smith's.
Yes.
In the next 2 years.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
good.
it's great because it kind of takes all the pressure off people.
So someone is going to say, I don't know if it's you, but someone will say, but Patrick, I don't know. Like, you don't understand. Like, I know my customers, nobody's moving, right?
Yeah,
No one's going to move there. And then I say, death, divorce, diplomas, diapers, diamonds, and distressed.
Yeah.
The
And
60s,
relocation.
the 60s that drive the market, relocation.
Yeah. Yeah.
7 Ds, right? Relocation.
Yeah.
And I don't, obviously we don't wish that on anybody, but like when people say to me, no one's, I'm like, tragically, someone's going to die. Someone, in the state of California, 60% of the people get divorced, right? Not you, not me, right? Here we go. But that happens. Someone's going to get a diploma and want to move up, or some kid's going to move out and they're going to want to downsize, as an example. Diapers, babies, right? Diamonds, new relationships, and distressed.
Yeah.
Which we're watching the numbers in market by market. You're seeing some distressed assets or opportunities start to show up. Those are all opportunities that will continue to move the market regardless of interest rates.
Let me just give an example. So I got Zach Nelson in Denver. Shout out to him. Executed this right away. And within the first 30 days of him kind of doing this, getting back on the horse, he was like, a past client was like, you're not going to believe this. We just got a job transfer.
Yep.
Okay. So job transfer. Another one said, I want to keep this property and keep it as a rental and buy a new one.
Right.
Genius.
Yep.
Right. Keep
Smart.
your low interest rate and buy a new one.
Yep.
And then the third one was a referral.
Yes.
Hey, Zach, you need to talk to
Such and such.
That's what happens in this. So, those plus all these other opportunities.
Okay.
So my friends, just do the thing. And I promise you, it will work.
Give me the 3 questions one more time.
Do you have any questions about prices in the
Okay,
neighborhood?
you're talking really fast and this person's writing it down.
Do you have any questions about prices in the neighborhood or with what's going on with the market?
Right. Such a great question. Because they're going to say, what's going to happen in the future? Where's it going? I'm reading the national news. It all sounds horrible. What's question 2?
Hey, do you have any, plans for your property? You think about making some upgrades, making some improvements, any maintenance, any kind of solar, anything that I could help you with, or anyone that I can refer you to.
Yeah.
Right. Which we'll talk about the home service Rolodex strategy, one of my favorite ones.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Okay. Then
Summit 2020. That was a big trend.
And then number 3 is is there any other future plans, buying a vacation home, buying investment property and or, making a move, considering a move, right? So, I would start with the other 2 first.
Because they're easy.
Right.
Yep.
And fun. And everybody should be buying an investment property. And we all should be talking to our clients about buying investment properties and building wealth with real estate. So let's start there and then let's move to the final, right? So those are the 3 questions. That'll make it super productive. And then everybody, trust me, will get. I would imagine, so the good agents who have a really strong brand and like kind of overdo the service and everybody loves them, I would imagine it's 1 out of 5.
Yes, I agree.
Maybe for some of the newer agents who haven't talked, you haven't talked to your past clients and you haven't really established a quality relationship with them yet, it might be 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
That would be the worst case scenario. So we could create a math equation right now for total number of sales from this one strategy in 2023 right now.
So I'm going to make the argument for the person that maybe is listening. Maybe someone that just got into real estate in like December 2019.
Yes.
And you've had a little run. You've sold 18 homes, 36 homes, 40 homes, whatever the number was, right? 6, 9, 7,000. It's hard to argue against right now also calling every person you sold a home during the pandemic. We've talked about this on multiple shows. We know that 25% of consumers that were surveyed that bought a home during the pandemic basically said, I hated the experience. They didn't say they hated the agent. They just said they hated the experience. It was a bad experience. But the more important number, the one that stood out, was 80% of consumers said, I compromised on the home purchase.
Yeah.
I didn't get in the school I wanted, school district. I didn't get the bedrooms I wanted. I didn't get the space I wanted. I didn't get the zip code. There were so many compromises because of the velocity of the market, the number of offers being written, right? So it's hard to argue against the same exact strategy being, hey, Patrick, I'm just calling you and Carly, August 15th,
Yes.
2020. You guys bought that brand new home. I was so honored to work with you guys. I just wanted to find out how's it going, check in. But the question is, how's the home working out for you?
Right.
You just shut up. How's the home working out? And then they go, wow, right? And you say, well, has anyone shared with you that 80% of consumers who bought a home during the pandemic actually said they felt like they compromised on the home? But the good news is you paid X. It's now worth
Right.
Y, massive Y. Have you guys had any thoughts of trading up, making an adjustment? Like, what do you guys want to do?
Yeah.
That's an easy, the number of people that have texted me, DM me, sent me emails, I see them at events and they go, that one thing, I just called every single person I transacted with and just said, how's the home working out? And you get we love it. Thank you so much. We totally appreciate it. Then you get asked all the questions about the market, or they say,
Yeah.
And that's, there's an opportunity to serve.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, so let's talk about past client sphere. One more thing on that point right there.
Good.
So, and I experienced this too, because it felt like when I got in and started selling houses, it was that kind of typical, I spent 90 days with them, 6 months with them, and then it was like, oh man, I ghosted them. Right. And I noticed that for even me, I've been, I'm trained in this business to not do it.
Yes.
And so I was like, what's wrong here? What's missing? And I needed a little bit of an ingredient that I figured out. Okay. So here's the ingredient. And this is my challenge to all my friends. And this is the question I'm asking all my coaching clients. I'm like, hey, I just bought a house with you. I bought a $2 million place with you, Tom. You made 50 grand roughly.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you made 50 grand. I hand you the keys, right? And then, or whatever. Or you.
All right, I'm going to stop the video there. It's not done, it's halfway done, because I don't want to overwhelm you with the purpose. The purpose is to take your business plan and refine it. I love the fact that, when you make these phone calls, you have to realize why you get results. And he said the 6 Ds. What are the 6 Ds again? People get divorced. And in California, 60% of marriages end up in divorce. And guess where our biggest influx of people comes from? California. Wow, what a formula we have. Next is death. Yes, people die. We have 1/3 of our community here lives in Sun City, lives in retirement communities, and they are retired. And you know what? We get older, we die, right? Yes, we're all going to die. It's what you're going to do when you're alive, right? But what you can do is D for divorce, D for death, and then the third one was downsize. Diplomas. How many kids are getting their diplomas this year where the parents may want to downsize, may want to move somewhere else, but they may want to sell their home. And then the diamonds. The diamonds are people get married. And then guess what? Then they have babies. Then they want dogs. And so they might want to buy a home, make it an investment, and buy another home. So that's the other thing. The registry, all these things are public. And then distress. Now, there's not a lot of people in Vegas that are in the distress mode that unless they bought, I think we figured if they paid $398 for their home 2-3 years ago, and I don't have the chart here, and it costs 10% to sell the home, and 10%, that would be 40,000. So if they're looking to get 440,000 and they paid 400,000, yeah, that's like a break even. And I know that Aaron Taylor and his team are looking to provide short sale assistance for people. So you might want to follow and see what ideas he's doing. And then I like when Tom says the de-relocation. Yes, people do move. People do get relocated. So those are the 6 Ds. And one of the things that I also love that they said, moving to the number 2 part about what they said, is, all these people bought when the interest rates were 2-3%, and they might want to invest they might want to buy a rental now, keep that low interest rate. The rents are high, their payments are low, they'll have some cash flow, right? Don't wait to buy real estate and wait. We had that chart. That chart you can use with that scenario. And then they might want to keep that property, and then they might want to buy another property. Okay, so that's where you need to look at the people who bought at those low interest rates. And guess what? You can get that from your title company. You can get that in Remine. Hold on a second. And that's another source of people. And then what else do we have here? Questions. Now, one of the things that I will tell you, excuse me, if people bought in 2019, and what they were saying is there was a possibility that they compromised on really what they wanted. And I think that's a good point. Excuse me 1 second while we cough. Sorry about that. Anyway, so I need to breathe when I talk, I guess. So anyway, if they bought in 2019, 2020, what the stats are telling us is 80% of those buyers felt they compromised. Maybe they didn't get the school they wanted. Maybe they didn't get the zip code they wanted. Maybe they didn't get the space they wanted, the yard they wanted, the pool they wanted, the pool they didn't want. Anyway, the velocity of the market drove those people to compromise. And now they might want to say, because back then again, the interest rates were lower, they might want to say, okay, I want to put that up as an investment property, and I want to go find the property that I really want. And when you talk to these people, you say, remember, George, we bought that home in 2020, and it was a scary experience for all of us. And I tried to make the journey as good as I could. But I think at the end of the day, most home buyers from that segment of time said it was not a good experience. It was hectic, right? So anyway, how's the home working out for you, George? What do you think? And George might say, well, it's not the school I wanted. We really wanted a bigger yard. And well, if I find that for you, would you consider using this home as an investment or even selling it? And then here's how much money you've made. Tell them something positive, right? You can do a quick CMA for them and say, well, we paid $398. It's worth about $440 now. So you do have some built-in equity there. You might want to keep it and rent it, and then we'll buy another home or something to that effect. Anyway, I think the whole point is your business plan. You have got to hone in on what your strategies are and what your activities are going to be and how you're going to hold yourself accountable. And when you do the numbers, if you have 110 clients, right, you're probably going to get 10 listings and or sales. That's the stats if you're doing a good job. Now, if you're afraid to talk to people, you should probably get out of the business. But if you are going to pick up that phone and call somebody or send somebody a CMA and say, look, you bought your home here. Hopefully it's working out for you. Here's how much value you have. I am look for my CMA. I'm going to send you in the mail so that you can see how much your home is appreciated. And then when you kind of figure they had it for 3 or 4 days, call them and say, well, you made some money on that home. Any plans? Then you can ask the 3 questions. Do you have any plans to remodel your home or add that kitchen counter that you wanted to do, or redo the bathroom, do some remodeling, want to add some solars, or anything I can do, George, to help you? And he says, no, I'm good. And then you can ask him, do you have any future plans, as far as investing in the future? And we can just keep tabs with the value of your home and the equity you have and maybe what you want to do. And when you talk to George about his investment builds wealth. Real estate builds wealth. We just showed you that chart, right? I mean, and so all that chart in Vegas, we are so fortunate. That chart opened so many doors and so many conversations for you. So I'm going to post that in the group, and I'm going to put this down here because I want to talk a little bit about our class we are having a class on, let's see, on Thursday. Oh, that's tomorrow. It's on contracts, writing and presenting the purchase contract. And this is a great class because Jimmy reviews all of the pitfalls of that offer that the buyer and seller should both know, depending on who you are, um, who you are talking to, the buyer or the seller. There's on every page, there's something they need to know. I think there may be 2 or 3 pages are just kind of boilerplate stuff, but there's so many little things in there, that items that they need to know how the buyer or the seller can really get out of the contract. And then of course the question always is, what about my earnest money? Well, if you read that, I think it's number 19. If there's any controversy, the title company can send that earnest money to, can hold on to it until it's resolved by the buyer and the seller, regardless of what the contract says. Any controversy nullifies all those other refunds of earnest monies. So anyway, it's a great class, and Jimmy always makes it fun, and we always laugh, and then we learn. And if you come to the classroom, we always have a good lunch, and we do a spin for a book with our Wheel of Fortune, and we do that for the Zoomers, and we do that for the people that participate in the class. The only other thing I want to ask you today is, if you don't have a website, go to agentformula.com, look at our site, look at all the materials we have, look at all the things that we do. We've been doing this in Las Vegas since 2010. That's going on 13 years. We've been building that website, refining that website, adding value for you, adding videos for you, adding blogs. We blog daily. So much value there for $59 a month. And I think the promo code is 59year, all caps. Anyway, love you all, and I will see you Friday. Hopefully you liked the video. If you didn't have time to watch it, go back and watch it. I've watched it 3 times, and I keep taking more notes because there's so many little things, and of course they talk fast, so you have to maybe listen a couple times, write some notes, and then you can always back it up and re-listen to it. You all know that. Remember, if you think the price of success is too high, wait till you go for regret. Love you all.